I think the seed for it was planted over 2 years ago when I met Hai Ting Chin. She was like, let's write a big piece. And then Jonathan Bradley became the executive director of Voices of Ascension. He decided to combine Hai Ting's idea of having a commission and contemporary music as part of the Voices of Ascension repertoire, and has created a Voices of Ascension concert of all North American Indigenous composers.
It's truly been like one of the greatest honors of my life so far to sing and stand alongside Native artists and artists of all different backgrounds to be a part of this concert.
It's kind of providing a microphone to voices that don't get amplified.
I've always felt a dichotomy as being someone of both Native and European heritage. And so there is that dichotomy of two separate identities. Here, we're in this world where we're on Lenape land and we're singing about what it means to be Native American in today's world.
Holy Ground is inspired by a poem by my good friend Charlie Fulbear-Vetter called I Am the Gardener. I was so inspired by the concept of going through the understanding that maybe you weren't planted into the best soil, but then understanding that you have the power to control what comes into the future. You get to be the garden and the gardener. And so that's where Holy Ground kind of came from. And then as it started to develop, I really wanted to write a piece about the ground here that I live on here in Lenapehoking. So here, there was a wild tobacco field here. So the Lenape name for this area literally means like wild tobacco. And underneath the tobacco were deposits of soapstone. And soapstone is the material used to make medicine pipes. And so this literal plot of land has been like a holy place for a really long time.
We repeat over and over this beautiful theme. We are the garden, we are the soil, we are the sun. And it sort of really, really plays back into this idea that we are of this earth and we are performing in a space that has not traditionally been inhabited by our people.
What it means to be of the land in a world where we're in a church that stands on that land. This is a very site-specific piece that was written for this particular venue, for the Church of Ascension. And it combines those two worlds.
I don't feel like I have an allegiance to the Western canon. I don't have an allegiance to this language, the language of Western music or the language of even English. So I think that gives a big freedom, and I hear that in the Indigenous singers as well.
I knew that I wanted to project onto the wall, so I was spending a lot of time just kind of studying the surface that it was on. And around this cross is a really beautiful mosaic of these sort of twirling vines, and it kind of looked like a beading to me. So I felt a need to create a physical object. Initially, I had these trays of ice, and I did a simple peyote stitch. That was kind of the first stitch that I taught myself when I was a teenager. And you essentially kind of make like a helix and you weave in between those with other beads. The idea of water being life, Native people having this relationship to water. And maybe when you zoom in to look at an ocean of people in New York City, you might see that there are these local native microbes, which are Indigenous people.
The piece Voiceless Mass was written in part as a commentary and response to the role that the Catholic Church played in the lives of so many different Indigenous peoples. The Voiceless Mass is, I think, Raven's way of exploring some of that discomfort. And the fact that it has to be performed in the church with the organ is a pretty powerful thing. I was pretty excited by the prospect of this being a more immersive kind of a piece. As a percussionist, I'm playing a timpani and some sort of low cymbal sounds and very like rumbly, almost not audible sound. It's a really interesting contrast when this piece starts after a choral experience. And all of a sudden you're kind of switching in a way from listening to really like a sensation kind of an experience. So that's been a really interesting aspect of working on this piece.
This has been one of the most amazing experiences as an artist. This has really been joining many different organizations and many different musical art forms to come together, and so therefore many viewpoints, thinking about how we're going to bring that community together.
Everybody's come with such an open attitude and such an open heart, really trying to bring the best that we can for Danielle's music and portray it in the best light, and it's just been a really wonderful experience overall.
This work is important and is needed, and it's propelling new music forward. This is, they're offering our voice, and by coming together, it's this really beautiful collaboration that I think is going to change how people see us in these spaces and how we program going forward, right? This is just the starting point. This is a history in the making, if you will, and it feels really beautiful to be part of it at the beginning.